sometimes we have trouble keeping straight.
I don't blame you. That's why I keep saying, call me. If you have like a brain cramp, Melanie can help me sort me out, because I can at least I got my memory.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
I know, but I was just saying, when you're going through stuff and you're going through all this stuff, you need to keep it collected. Ask me, because I'm going to tell the truth. Nobody's going to tell it like me.
All right. So tell me again about the knocking on the door.
So something about one night there was this is what Chad would tell Lori, that Tammy woke up to a knock at the door, and then he would say, maybe to Julie, I don't know, I mean to his wife, I don't know, but he said, she told me that he said it was Julie's spirit knocking at the door, that's what woke her up. So that was one indication, and it seemed like there could have been other things, I can't recall, but she just says, I felt this feeling of like they were kind of like around her house as evil spirits. That's what it felt like when she was telling me. So again, I can feel things, you picture it, but you don't have the words to describe it. That these evil spirits are now trying to get a hold of her. Oh, and then she says, she's starting to question if he's seeing somebody else.
Or
no,
Tammy
was. That's what she
right.
would tell. So that's how they knew the evil spirits were in her, is because now she was starting to, and I don't remember what she said, something like, are you seeing another woman? Something, maybe, like that.
Do you know when that was?
Yeah, that was that time we went, September, that weekend I was up there. She would tell me that while I was in her apartment.
Lori told you that.
Yeah, and that was when she was telling that JJ.
I think we did know that.
Yeah, everything I can remember, I tried my best to express as I could. Yeah, I can share. I feel like I shared it. It feels super familiar to be sharing that. Anyway, so, but she didn't tell me when she got in her spirit. I think after she died. So I didn't know, and I don't know that she ever said who was. She was trying to describe it, but I don't even remember what she said.
Can I interject really quick?
Yeah.
Let's go back to the castings, because we're kind of getting just sidetracked just a little bit.
Okay.
So back to the castings. You participated in about 10 of them, and then some over the phone, roughly.
Something like that. They were mostly on Charles, if I can remember, if not all of them. There might have been a few that weren't, but it felt like they were, if not all, Charles.
And Lori would start it, and you would go around the room.
She'll always.
You'd go around the room, and each person would say something.
I have something to say.
Describe to me, let's say we're in the casting, what would you say?
I would say, so they would always refer to the evil spirit. So if it was Ned, they'd say.
All by name.
And I can't remember if I said Ned's name or not. I don't know. But anyway, I just say, Jesus Christ is your Savior. Come to Him, and remember that you can always repent and come to Him. So it's my testimony of the repentance and the power of the Savior. That was what I'd say. So I'd say, just like I referred to Paul the Apostle, that he went through a hard time and he came to the Lord and he was able to be forgiven. And then you can come to the light side. It was all done with love. To me, I felt the love when I said it. I wasn't doing it in a way that I was angry or upset or any negative. Like, I liked Charles, so it wasn't like I was against anybody.
So you would say that.
And then somebody else would, and then they would move on to the next person.
Okay.
And so a person would say, oh gosh.
So what was your gift that brought you into that circle? What was your gift? Because each person in the circle had a gift.
Nobody
right?
really had a gift until they stepped. It seems like they had a gift all of a sudden when they stepped into the circle. Does that make sense? Like, there was no gift outside of it except for Sulema.
When you cast a circle, you are essentially creating a cauldron, a container for the energy that you're going to raise within it. And the container, the cauldron, is the place in which the transformation takes place, your transformation, the transformation of your soul. And the center of the circle is the point where you and the sacred are conjoined.
So Lima seemed to be the one that had the gift of moving the earth, because she seemed to the visionary stuff she could see. So she's the only one that I knew of that had that kind of gift.
Do you remember Lori giving anybody assignments? Okay, you be water, you be fire.
Yeah, a little bit. As she started to learn it more, but that probably backed off after a while because she stopped. Like I said, she got rid of some people in the group. So then it kind of just branched off to her, and her and Lori would do a lot of it on their own in the temple. And I'd come and see them in the temple later. I was like, hey, what's going on? And she's like, oh, we just were. So they'd be in the temple doing it sometimes, and they would just do it like they'd sit beside each other and just hold hands or something like that. Like nobody could really tell what they were doing. And they would talk about. I'd see them talking, and then they would just close their eyes and then think that they could do something like leave their bodies, and.
Hi, my name is Julie Rowe. I'm an energy practitioner. I've had several near-death experiences, out of bodies, and astral projections. I'm able to see past, present, and future.
I've heard people do weird stuff like that. Like it happens to people. I don't know. I never have experiences, but anyway. So somebody would do something about water, and I can't remember the words. They were so different. Sorry, I'm trying. Crystals or whatever, and I'm trying to remember Nicole and Christina. Like what
Well,
they
that's
had
okay.
said.
That's okay.
I don't really remember.
So you guys go around the circle. Each person says their part, right?
Yeah.
And then it comes back to Lori.
Most likely.
And how does Lori close it? Like, how do you guys get done with the casting?
She would invite the spirit to come out of the body, and I think a few times, if I remember now, it's so long since I thought about this. So then, they would try to, what's the right word, seal it up or something like that. Seal it.
Like sealing a
Like
blessing?
a sealing, yeah. Like try to seal it where they could, that light energy that was going into them that would cause that evil spirit go, okay, I'm going to leave now. So they were trying to invite it to leave now. And she just talked to, I think at the end she would just try to seal that up and try to think she had the power to talk it out of leaving the body.
And that's something you believed in at the time?
I kind of believed in it. I didn't 100%. It's hard to 100% believe in anything that's not true. So at the time, I thought, well, I don't know if this is effective or not, but it seems that's the direction she's going because she doesn't know what to do about this evil spirit of the body. I don't know if it's working or not because she's saying one time it's here and I said, Chad, the body left. So when the first entity first left, Ned, it got really weird after that. Actually, she called Chad. She's like, "Did we get the body? We had a prayer. Did we get the spirit out?" Because he would be the one that deemed it, and he'd say, "Yes, it left." And then, well, where is it? And then, what is his body dead? Because they thought maybe his body would drop dead, which never happened. So she thought that Charles was dead. Okay. Yeah, it takes a while to remember all this stuff because there's so many details. And I'm just visualizing as much as I can. So I remember then she said that something like Brandon was involved. It was so dumb. And Brandon was helping get rid of the bodies, something. But anyway, we find out. Then he said, so he kept changing things, the story all the time. Then he would say, oh no, that's not really what, because she obviously found out Charles was alive. Oh, that's not what happened. It was Brandon's father's body that died, or something stupid like that. He would always try to put it off, like find an excuse why it didn't work. So when that first time she said that Charles was going to get in the car accident and die, that January, because I remember it was right around my birthday, and then because it was right after Christmas, and then I said, well, why didn't he die? And then Charles's excuse, which was always Julie Rose's excuse that I heard was, oh, because of agency it didn't happen. These people didn't meet up with the right plan and it didn't go according to plan, so it just failed it. So that would always be excuse for why things didn't go. He just would lead her along to one, and so they thought they were always discovering things, and the adversaries getting smarter and smarter, and they were just leading it. It just got stupider and stupider, the story did, and it just got more crazy. And sometimes I'd go, okay, whatever, and I just kind of blow it off.
Well, no, let's back up. So Tylee was deemed dark back in July.
She
Did
was
you guys
deemed
ever
dark at some point.
Cast for Tylee.
I do not recall that.
Okay.
But I know at some point she was called dark, and
Who called that? Or
well, probably Chad would tell her, because Chad was the one she would go to. And I remember I said this out loud to you guys, is She used to think she got a lot of revelation, but now that Chad's in her life, she just relies upon him more. So she kind of didn't think she had the power anymore because he seemed to have more power than her.
Do you know at that point in time there was any tension between Lori and Tylee?
There was always tension.
Was there?
When was there wasn't tension? I mean, it was from day one that I met her. You know, I walk in the room. I super good with teenagers. Love them. Hi. She's like, if we were each other, I was like, hi, and she didn't even want to look at me, and she was probably thinking one of her friends that she just totally dumps me on. Who knows? But she would never contact me. I did one time try to be affectionate and kind to her, and we were sitting at the table. We're going to California with her friend. And we're sitting at the little that wiener place. I forgot the name of it. Anyway, but that fast food restaurant, you know, well, not that one,
Schlotzky's?
Yes, I don't even know how to say it. We were there. She said it was one of her favorite places.
I like food.
Yeah. See, she said she was big on food, and now she loved her fast food, if you didn't know that. Fast food, if you didn't know that, she did. And so we were sitting there, and I just, just like, try to put, like, Tylee's hair, women just do that kind of stuff. And I just pulled her hair up, and she was like, meow, you know what I mean? I was like, and I didn't take it personally. I knew her mom was her mom. Like, she had a rough life. I was like, whatever, meow, And I think it upset Lori. That kind of upset her. I was like, you don't need to be upset. But anyway, so she didn't think she was dark at that time. That was another time. That was earlier on.
And I know this stuff, bringing it up, can be kind of embarrassing to think that I actually bought into some of that
Absolutely,
stuff.
It is.
But it's super important that if you did buy into it, you let us know. Because we've recovered text messages and conversations between you and Lori, or you and Zulema, and things like that. So there's some things where it shows that you actually believe that Charles was a zombie.
Well, like I said, to a certain level, I believe it. Just like Zulema. Remember me asking her the last time I saw them? I said to him directly. It's like, and this is just to show you where my beliefs were. And Zulema's, I said, I'm not 100%. Now, here we're not influenced by Chad and Lori, because they're not in the room. This is us three now, alone, without their influence. And Alex. So here we're in Zulema's home, and I remember he's sitting right by the door, and she's in the kitchen, and I'm right here. And I go, 100% of the zombie thing, I'm still not 100%. Okay? So that's what I said. So he goes, 100%, and then she goes, I'm still getting my answers on that. She goes, I'm still not 100%. So that's what our conversation. Now, to me, if she said that means she didn't know that they died. Or they were, whatever, they're missing or whatever. I don't think she was privy to that because of her comment there. She didn't seem like she knew what was going on to me.
But this was after they had moved to Rexburg.
This was like a few weeks before he died, so this was what?
Charles.
No, Alex. This is right before Alex died.
Yeah, so this is after they moved to Rexburg, they came back.
Yeah, this is after they went to Rexburg, and they already were married. They just got married. Zulema and Alex. So when I say, I went along with the text because I was trying to believe in it, and I was trying to, but there was always that little part of me that was like, you're going to have that. You're going to have that doubt until you ever had doubts about something, but you go along with it for a while because you kind of, and then you're like, So I'm not denying that because I told you I was gullible. So that, it's just that I didn't 100% believe in it. I never 100% believed in anything, but she was so convincing when she come around and she would just like make you try to believe it more. You know what I mean? It's like when you have something, you ever try to believe in something and you keep talking about it to keep convincing yourself of it? Multi-levels are great at that. You're just trying to talk yourself into it. And so, but the 100% was never there, even though it made it sound like it. Even Lori doubted it. Because she made a few comments and I remember her seemed like she could have been the last house she lived in when Charles died in. If he's a Satan, he's a good one. Or maybe she was in Texas too. It was in one of those. So I'm just saying, how do you 100% believe in something that's not true? It's very difficult to.
This time that you were with Alex, Zulema, and you, where was that at?
That was at Zulema's house.
And did you have a conversation at that time with Lori and Chad?
They were in the room. When was the last time I talked to them? Well, remember I was already coming down.
I thought you said that you talked, or you just got to talk to them or something.
No, I said we weren't talking to them, so we weren't in their conversation. Like we were just talking, the three of us.
Oh, okay.
So I want to make that clear that they weren't under our influence. They weren't trying to influence us. I was trying to say we three got to talk without them in the room, which really...
Because they left?
No, but they were wherever they were.
Okay.
I don't know where they were.
And it wasn't that you hadn't been on earlier with any phone conversation or anything?
The only phone call that I've shared with everybody, which is the truth, is when I was coming down from Utah. Remember, it was the Thanksgiving time. And remember I said I did the three-way call, and I called them to say, hey, let's say a prayer. I'm worried about them. Sulema got on the phone call. She didn't really seem like she understood what was going on. Because I asked Laura, I'm like, does she know what's going on? And she's like, oh, yeah, she lied. Anyway, so when I was listening to Sulema, I was like, I don't think she understands what's going on. I got that feeling. She's like, what is this about?
I just wanted to make sure that...
So that was the last conversation I had with her,
Okay.
was that conversation on the phone when I prayed, when I had a prayer. I was worried about, they said the kids were
With
being
Lori.
kidnapped. Yeah. Phone when I prayed, when I had a prayer, I was worried about, they said the kids were
With
being
Lori.
kidnapped. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, I was in the car with David, so he heard it because we had it on the speaker thing.
All right.
And so anyway, so that was that conversation. And then we got busy for me. I was doing Thanksgiving. And then I went over to their house. And anyway, it was the last time I saw him. And he said, 100% believe in it, Melanie.
Alex.
And so this is the thing, is I think because he 100% believed in it, he had to, because at this point he had probably killed the kids, is my guess. He probably did it. I don't know. I'm guessing. Maybe you guys are guessing too. But he 100% believed it. And she didn't 100% believe it. And then when I told her, when I realized, oh, holy cow, I called her. I tried to talk to her. She was not there yet.
What do you mean by that? She just...
I said to her, I said, Sulema, I don't remember the full conversation because I was on fire in my mind. I'm like, holy cow, right? I'm freaking out. But what I do remember is I said, there's something seriously wrong here. I said, the gut of my stomach says something's seriously wrong here. And she goes, that's just dark. I said, no, there's a difference between gut and dark. This is gut. And I said, do you have testimony of Chad and Lori? Do you have testimony of that? What is your witness? And she goes, well, I have one of Chad. When he gave me a blessing, shortly after meeting him, I had more visions after that. And she goes, I'll get my witness about Lori. And I said, well, I don't believe I don't know what I described, but I just described it, and I didn't believe who they were. And I said, I'm going to be going to the police. I remember somebody I talked to maybe twice, and probably the last. So I said, I'm going to the police. And I said, is Alex on? Can Alex hear me? And she goes, it's on speaker. I said, take it off speaker. Now here's the murderers down the street. Remember, they live close to me. Remember, Sulema lived around the corner from me, and I'm thinking, I just got myself in a situation. He could come after me, right? Mm-hmm. But I had. Which means to me, Lori's in. Lori's good. That's what it meant to me.
Did she tell you how she got her?
No, that's the one-liner. And I said, I'm not talking to her anymore. Cut her off. I just knew that I couldn't talk to her anymore.
You remember what day that was? You still have
It's on
it?
my phone. Yep. Thank goodness for some of the texts that got saved, right? And then she told me she never wanted to have anything to do with me again.
At that same time?
No. It would be after he died. After Alex died. So she was still under the influence of Lori that time in her life, so, okay. I received my witness today.
On December 6th?
Yep. So I got $2,000 from Melanie's account, and she got $10,000 from my cash, and she said, no, I still give her pick up, sorry, I'm not sure why, I just text her, so you can get her to take out, just take out to me. I can't remember, I don't have money in my account, do it. Anyway, she was looking at things. We have a convo, what happened, I was so surprised, so sad. This is after he died, so this was, so I guess 2 days later, right? I'm so sorry, words can express how I feel. I'm extremely only surprised at your hypocrisy because of what you did. I didn't only deal with ever since 2009 but then when we went my house, traumatized my family. You are not my friend. You are not to speak to me or anyone in my family ever again. I want you to pay the $2,000 you owe as soon as possible. Put it onto the map and I'll forget that I exist. So you can understand why I haven't talked to her.
So,
Then I just told her.
is she just mad because you made the phone call to us? Is that why she's mad? And she thinks that God's pointed towards Alex's direction?
My guess. She knew I was going to the police.
That day was December 16th.
Yeah. So, Then I put the money under the mat, and that was it. I do PayPal because I hate using technology for that. So I made sure she wasn't around.
Did you have talked to her since?
I've not talked to her, nor have I seen her. Wait, have I seen her? Yeah, I think I saw her a few times passing to the temple, and she wouldn't talk to me. So, and then the temple got closed shortly after, so anyway, I haven't seen her since. Yeah, so one of my friends, Kelly, she saw her at the temple after it happened, and she was like, "Oh, Kelly, my husband died. Can you see him? He's here with me." And she's like, "I don't see anything. I don't see spirits." So she's going on about how he was her husband. And she was really, she was deceived so much. So sad. It was very sad.
Mm-hmm.
She did not know how evil he was. I mean, all that I've learned about him didn't sound like he had a good past, you know?
That's interesting.
Yeah, so she was, I believe her energy work is the one that got her deceived. Because she, you know, she could communicate through the veil. I had no gift, so, you know what I mean? It got her sucked into it. As far as her not letting that go and believing in it and stuff.
I'm curious, your opinion, do you really think she can see through the veil?
I don't know if people make stuff up or not, honestly, Ron, I don't know. I don't know if people imagine things. I really don't know. I do believe people can see things. I believe it's possible. But my feeling about them is I think they can conjure up ideas and thoughts. Like I would sit with Lori in the temple and we just hold hands because we just loved each other. And she said, "Oh, Heavenly Father and Mother came to me right here, Melanie. And they were talking to me." And I was like, I didn't think she was lying in the temple. I never thought she was making this stuff up. I was like, but on the eternal thing, I think that God wanted me to be a witness for all this. So, and that's a whole different discussion. But somebody needed to be a witness to all this craziness that would tell the truth. So there was a part of me that's very innocent because I don't think you're lying to me. I wouldn't make a very good police officer because I would think everybody was telling the truth that came in to see you. And then I learned more about my life and looking back at my former spouse and going, oh, things I couldn't see before. And it's called deception or manipulation. I wasn't even aware of that. Like people do that. I didn't catch it because I don't know how to do it. I don't understand it. But when you experience it, it's painful.
I'm going to get a little personal with you here and ask some personal questions, but I'm curious with your relationship with your previous husband. Was that relationship with your previous husband kind of in turmoil before Chad and Lori showed up on scene?
Oh, absolutely. We had challenges for the whole marriage.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a hard marriage.
Did Chad?
Did they encourage me?
Yeah.
Actually, they discouraged me.
Did they really?
Well, they were saying, oh, I see you, this is what he would say at first, I see you and your family going to a mountain in camps, and I see your husband and your family with you. But he gets upset and he leaves the camp, and then he shortly dies after that. So then, that was one thing he said. And then at one point they said, he's not dark, but he has just dark spirits around him. Because I remember out of the blue, he's like, oh, I checked your husband, and he has attachments to him, so I just took the attachments off him. I didn't ask him to do that, nor did I even think that he had them, do you know what I mean? So that was right in the beginning. And so then I said, and then anyway, I had a hard day one day with Brendan, and I told him months, like right about the time I met Lori, I remember standing with my husband, and I said to him, you don't talk to me this way, I can't do it anymore. You don't have this, I can't do it, 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 and I can't do it, so anyway, I tell Brennan, I fasted the whole day. I was like, I feel peace and I feel happy. I am so done. I was in so much pain. But that's the reason why I came to know the Lord, is because of how hard that relationship was. And I spent a lot of time repenting on just any kind of unkindness I showed. I mean, I spent a lifetime doing that. So anyway, I said to her, hey, I just want to let you know that I'm divorcing Brendan or something like that. And she's like, I can't remember what she said. But I remember one time going to the temple, I said, this is just not going well. And she goes, no, I think you should go back to him. And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of sensing that too. Everything's just hard, you know, like he's getting upset and the kids are da. So she was actually, believe it or not, she encouraged me to go back with him. And then I got to a point where I was like, I got to do what I need to do. And actually, this is interesting. I told Brendan the whole story after I talked to all you guys before he hit the media. I wanted him to know face to face. I said, I want to tell you what happened. Because he's the father of my children. He needs to know these things. And I told him about Chad and Lori, the whole thing, and he was just like, oh my gosh. You know, he was shocked. He goes, well, probably a good thing you divorced me. Because they probably would have tried to come after me like they came after Brandon. And I said, who knows? And I thought, wow, that was the statement of the year.
I'm going to ask a question, and I do so with a little bit of reserve because I don't want to sound too... It's going to be a weird question,
Okay.
but it is what it is.
You know, you can.
Do you ever feel like that with Chad, there was ever a point in time that Chad was wanting to bring you into any type of relationship?
I never felt that from him. He did contact me, but I never felt that, you know, the thing that him and Lori did. I never felt that kind of a romantic, no. But one time he contacted me, and I'm sure I shared this briefly, 6 months before I met Lori. He texted me on Messenger and says, "Hey, Melanie, I just finished my last book, and I'm going to be in Arizona. Do you think you can help me with a get-together?" I said, "Sure, I'd love to." And then I contacted Jason Mao, and I said, "Hey, well, Chad's coming to town. Why don't you guys both do a duo together?" And so they both were like, he's like, "Sure, that's fine." And so then I got the word out, like, hey, they're both coming to town. So anyway, when I picked him up, I'm so glad I did this. I picked him up from the airport. I had somebody in the car with me. Whew, glad, you know, because who knows? I don't think he would have said anything about these multiple lives. He hadn't told me about that, so I didn't know anything about it. With me. So anyway, we went to the place that he was going to speak, and then we had a lot of craziness going on with the air conditioning. But anyway, and then I said to him after, you know, it was all over, I said, "Do you mind giving me a priesthood blessing? I could really use one right now, you know." And I looked up to him at the time. I thought,
Sure.
he was a great visionary, and which I don't even think he's a visionary by the record now. Now maybe I've said it earlier on, but now with my Martin Ponder, I'm like, I think he made that up. Anyway, so he gave me a little, it was just a nice little blessing. Anyway, but he never, I didn't feel like he was trying to come on to me, or maybe he used me just to get his book sold there. But when he met Lori, it was a totally different energy than when I met him. So that's just like, you know, of course, I never had any type of interest in him at all, because you can tell why. So. He was not somebody I'd be attracted to, you know what I'm saying? But plus I was married too. Sorry, it's loud.
Let's talk a little bit about the night that you were at the apartment in Rexburg, the night that we believe that JJ came on missing.
Yeah.
If I recall right, you guys were doing a cast. And Alex had already taken a podcast.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
and Alex had taken JJ, gone to his place, and a little later we know that then he brought JJ back.
Yeah.
And because I don't have any paperwork right in front of me, he went upstairs with JJ. Is that correct? Is that what I remember?
Do you remember, like, you mean like when we were doing the podcast and then he came in the door with me sleeping?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of looked that way.
So he goes upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know where he went when he went upstairs?
Just kind of, oh, well, yeah, because he went into Lori's room because he wasn't in David's or my room. Those rooms are empty, so he hadn't been in there.
And then you didn't see him again that night.
Who? JJ?
Alex.
He left. No. Mm-mm.
And Jay left. JJ's still up there.
Yeah. And I never saw JJ either.
Right, but Alex left. You watched him leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we heard the door open and close, and we probably podcasting. Who knows?
Do
We
you
could have. Wait,
recall seeing him walk out with JJ?
Not walk out. Mm-mm. No,
Okay.
just walk in.
Okay.
Just walk in.
That's right.
And when he left the first time, we didn't see him take him. We just know he had him because she said that he had taken him.
Right.
I don't recall that. I just remember he wasn't there.
But the time he left,
Mm-hmm.
so he brings JJ in, and then he leaves again. He did not take JJ out of the room, or out of the apartment.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so you get done with your podcast, everybody goes their separate way, and everybody goes to their bedrooms. And David, I recall David having his dream. He woke up.
Yeah, funky.
Did he come and get you and tell you?
No, I was actually laying beside him when it happened.
In which room?
In JJ's official room.
Okay, so he woke up and you were at the side of him?
Yeah.
And tell me about what happened from there.
His heart was beating. He was distressed. He said, "I just had this really bad dream." And then he kind of sat up and he was just, and he just was, I said, "Well, tell me about it. And he's like, "It was just so dark." He's like, "I saw an earthquake and I I saw people hurting, and I wanted to help them, and I couldn't, and something like that. That's what it feels like. Remember, it was like his heart was hurting. Like his whole body was under distress. When he has dreams, they're like lifetime dreams. You know, some people dream vividly. I do not dream like that. He has incredible dreams where he feels everything in his dream. So it affects him at a totally different level.
Okay.
So that's what happened. So then I think, oh my gosh, maybe some evil spirit, because, you know, they were always talking about it. So I text Lori and I text Chad. I'm like, I don't remember what I said. Probably, are you awake, or something's wrong with Chad. David, I don't remember what I said. I just remember trying to get to them. So I said, I'm going to go get Lori, see if she can help out. The door was locked. And so I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I should try to wake her up, or I just decided to come back and see David.
So you tried the door handle. It was locked.
It was locked.
Did you knock on it?
Maybe. I probably did, but there was no answer. I don't remember if I probably did, but... And I did actually, I think I tried calling her too, and texting her. And I think Chad, I tried calling him. I thought maybe he could help out. Neither one of them responded to me, as you probably could tell in the text. You probably saw that. Nobody responded to me. So I just went back to bed. And then we woke up next morning and she was happy chappy.
How was David?
He was better. He felt better. He's like, that was a bad dream. Then we would tell them, like, hey, he had a bad dream last night. And she's like, oh, that was Julie Rowe. He attacked her. Once again, throw Julie into it. From a distance.
Chad said Julie Rowe attacked David?
Well, Lori probably said it, but, you know, she always looked at him. So when I say it's kind of both. Who knows? They both. And I don't even know what I believe anymore, what she says that he says, because she's such a liar now at this point. I'm like, I don't know anymore who said what, but between the two of them, they came up with it. Oh, they always throw her into the bus, you know. And it's because because right before that earlier that day, we went to that lot where, you know, the land was going to be for sale. And so we were talking to a friend of Julie Rose. His name was Keith. And Keith Levitt was there with his wife Suzanne, and then the realtor was there, and and Alex was there. But Lori wasn't there. David thought she was there. I said, no, she went home after that. He goes, I forgot that. Anyway. And so anyway, because we saw her, we thought, oh, she's going to tell Julie Rowe. Keith is going to tell Julie Rowe that we were there because he saw us, because they're really tight. Keith and Julie are super tight. So that's why they threw that, you know, Julie Rowe attacked him that night, because, you know, da-da-da-da.
Do you remember by chance what Lori was wearing in the morning when you guys got up?
She was typical wearing spandex pants and spandex shirt. I don't recall. But that's usually what she had on.
Was it the same clothes that she had on the night before?
Oh gosh, I do not remember.
I know that's kind of a tough one.
I don't remember details to stuff like that. It's not one of those things I pull, unless it stands out for a reason. I wish I could tell you. Yeah. That'd be good to know, but I don't know. She usually had new clothes on every day. If I can remember, it seemed like she had fresh clothes on every day. She was kind of into her clothes, so.
All right.
That night on the 22nd.
Yeah.
Try to remember as best you can, okay? So, it's a Sunday,
Yeah.
right? Do you guys go to dinner, or do you guys make dinner on Sunday night?
Well, we would make it because we don't go to eat on dinner, so we would have made it at home.
So everybody's at home.
Mm-hmm.
Does Lori leave anywhere with JJ?
I don't have any memory of her leaving.
So you sent a text, correction, Lori sent a text to you around 8:30 that evening saying that something to the effect of, hey, I'll be there shortly, JJ woke up, she's getting him back to bed. Do you know where she was at or where you were at when she sent that text?
Gosh. Man, man, that doesn't even sound familiar. Maybe at Alex's house. I mean, that's the only place that she could
Do
be.
you have that conversation with her on your phone right now?
No, I think I deleted everything. I was freaked out. I'm sorry. I wish I would have kept it on.
So, and I can get that.
So say it again. So who's speaking? Say it again.
So Lori
She texts me and says,
something to the effect of, "I'll be there shortly."
I'll be there shortly.
JJ woke up and I'm trying to get him back to sleep.
And that was at night.
It was about 8:30 at night.
Well, okay, because we didn't do the podcast yet.
Okay.
We started the podcast like late because I remember thinking, man, I can't stay up this late. I'm an early bird. Like, come on. We started late, and she's an early bird too. So it must have been, my guess is that it must have been at Alex's house getting him to sleep over there. I'm guessing. So I'm just going to make some guesses. That's that. Because she would never have gone to Chad's house because Tammy was there, right? So where else in the world would she go? I have no idea.
And that's why I'm asking if you remember being alone in her apartment with her not there. Because if she's at Alex's, you're alone in her apartment.
I could have been upstairs or something. Maybe I was talking to David, who knows.
So, and that's why I'm asking if
Yeah.
you remember her leaving and JJ not being there around that time.
Probably, because that's when he was no longer there when we did the podcast. And so somehow, I think I was upstairs. That's what I feel. I just don't remember that detail. I wasn't having any reason not to remember that. I didn't know anything was going on, so I didn't have a way of associating it with anything. I just knew I was going to do a podcast, and that was it. And I didn't prepare for it, because I never prepared for the podcast. I just, so.
And that night when David was having his dream, and you sent the text to Chad, and understand, I'm not casting any judgment here.
Yeah, that's okay.
But were you and David sleeping in the same room? Or
That night we were. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so and which room? You're walking down the hall. Which room were you in, the right or the left?
It depends on which way you're walking down the hall. So you're walking away from Lori's door.
Away from Lori's door, towards the room.
So David's. Well, he was assigned that room, and then the first night, David wasn't there for a few nights, so I was in Tyler's room. So that was the night. That was the room that I stayed in. And then he stayed. So yeah, left room, and it had the mattress on the floor.
Okay, so that night you guys were in the left bedroom.
Yes. Yeah.
And the nights prior to that, you were in the right bedroom.
Yeah, I was a couple. I don't know how many nights. I know at least I was like 1 or 2 nights in Tyler's room. I know that. I just gotta remember when he came there. Was it Friday or Saturday night he got there? Anyway.
It'd been the first night that he got there.
Which night was that? Do you remember?
I don't, but you guys shared the same room the first night he showed up at the apartment.
Probably.
Because he was...
I was there like a day or 2 before he was. Because did I get on Wednesday? I think Wednesday and Thursday. So I would have been in the room Wednesday and Thursday in Tyler's room.
Okay.
And then I think he was there 2 nights. I think. So I think I was there for a total of 4 days, and then left on Monday. Saturday, Sunday. I know it's 5 days. Anyway, sorry, they blur. So anyway, I don't remember other than like something, I don't know what I said on the text. Probably something like, something's wrong with David. He had a dream, something. I don't know what I said, but something to the fact that something's wrong with him. I just thought, man, maybe somebody, evil spirit. That's all I could think of. That's all I could think of. Because I was like, why is he traumatized in this dream? That's pretty intense. Anyway, it was bad.
And so after you went and knocked on Lori's door,
I don't know if I know I did this.
tried the handle.
My guess is I probably knocked, but I just decided to come back. I was like, well, she's probably asleep.
So, again, we're asking these questions because, it may be something that the defense wants to hit on.
Sure.
I mean, you never know what
Right.
they're going to want to talk to.
Well, and I could see that angle. Just like, well, why were you contacting them in the middle of the night? Well, yeah, this weird experience. I don't know what else to say.
And so when we talk about this stuff, it's for that purpose, right?
Yeah.
So that morning, when David talked to Lori, did he express any concerns to you about JJ's whereabouts?
Did he express any concerns
Yeah.
to me? I don't recall him expressing concerns.
On the drive home, did you guys talk or text Lori or Chad?
No, I mean, what would we have said about JJ? Just, I know that he questioned her, like, where is JJ? Let me see if he has a zombie in him. I mean, I don't remember.
Was he saying that kind of mock? Or
Um,
was he really?
no, I think he was genuine.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not a mocker. He's pretty genuine about these kind of things. I just don't remember that full conversation.
And that's why I asked, because if he was concerned, right?
Oh,
JJ has
right,
a
like he
zombie
was,
in him.
yeah.
It would be, I would think that maybe you guys would maybe discuss that, if you could remember discussion on the way home, because it was kind of a long drive, right? And then during that drive, there was 3 or 4 phone calls that you made to Lori
Okay.
during that drive, and do you remember what that conversation was?
Jogging my memory. Holy cow.
I know it's a lot to remember.
Well, you could have passed this like a long time ago. I just,
Well, and
I don't even know if I remember because it wasn't significant enough for me to remember. There's certain things I remember, some things I'm like, don't remember that. It's possible we could have talked about it. I mean, it's highly possible. Do I remember? I don't remember the words.
How do you remember how she was, her tone, her demeanor on the phone with you? Was she?
I don't even remember the conversation. That's the hard part. I don't remember talking to her.
Is it normal for you to call her 3 or 4 times a day?
That's not unusual. That's not unusual. There were periods of time where she talked to me more, and then she'd move, and she'd be maybe focused on Melanie, so if she was focused on somebody else, she wouldn't. But I was with David, so, I didn't have as much when I was with David, so it went through, gaps here and there where I did and didn't. In the beginning, yeah, and then when she moved and stuff,